morning, good morning, good morning, good evening, good night, good afternoon, good time, good tithings on this beautiful day. Welcome to another gorgeous episode of Body of Work, the number one podcast for creators and creative insights. Upon this side of the globe, shout out to Quadi Peso, the number one rapper in West Philly. What up, Playboy? This week, we are going over the Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. Shout out to Miss Lauryn Hill. Let's turn her down. I thought it was very fitting, since we are in a retrograde still, since Mercury is in a retrograde still, to look back and revisit the Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. We did this back in the day, early on, if you were with us for that part of the show. But we are just taking a quick look back on the Four Agreements. And today we will be looking at the second agreement. But before we jump into that, don't forget to hit all the links in the bios. Don't forget to check out the Long Sleeve Radio thank you mixes. Don't forget to check out all the other links in bios. Don't forget to stream the mixes. Quadi Peso is on at least, I think, like 2 or 3 of them. Go run them numbers up. And for this week's musical body of work, again, we have the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, the 1998 album. And the song of the day is Can't Take My Eyes Off of You, parentheses, I love you, baby, close parentheses, I guess I should say. All right, the Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. Today's agreement, we are jumping into the second agreement, which is do not take anything personally. Don't take anything personally. Again, I love going over these because I can always take something from it. But again, we are revisiting the Four Agreements from Don Miguel Ruiz. And today's agreement is, new podcast. Today's agreement is the second agreement, don't take anything personally. All right, so he starts off by saying the next 3 agreements, because after the first agreement, which we'll double back, is be impeccable with your word, and you can listen to the yesterday's episode to go in depth about that. The next 3 agreements are really born from the first agreement. The second agreement is, again, don't take anything personally. So right here in the writing, it says, whatever happens around you, don't take it personally. Cool. So whatever is happening around you, don't take it personally. I know this may be hard for some of us. This was very hard when I first got hip to this idea. Very hard for me, very difficult for me. But the more and more you put this into practice, the easier it will come. Do not take anything personally. Whatever happens around you, don't take personally. Again, before we jump into that, let's give some quick gratitudes. That water really made me think about what I'm thankful for. So I am thankful for water, for drinking that with intention. I need to drink a lot more. And we have a goal of getting through this big behind jug, which I'm behind on. Your day, what's good, sister girl? I am thankful for the viewers, for the supporters, for everyone that tunes in to the live, to the YouTube, to the Patreon, to Apple, Spotify, Anchor, wherever you listen to podcasts at, wherever you listen to it at. I am thankful for waking up. I'm thankful for this internet and beautiful Ho Chi Minh, Saigon, Vietnam. It's gorgeous out here. I'm grateful for friends, because you never know when you may need them or when they may need you. And it's just a beautiful thing to have. I am grateful for sight. I am grateful for breath. And I am grateful for this breakfast I'm going to make after this episode. So again, we are jumping into the second agreement from the Four Agreements from Don Miguel Ruiz, which is don't take anything personally. And I wrote down here, personal importance. He made a note of that. Personal importance is the maximum expression of selfishness. When we make the assumption that everything is about us. Now, again, being selfish in certain times is understandable. Very, very, very understandable. You can take with that as you will. But again, it says personal importance is the maximum expression of selfishness. We make the assumption that everything is about us. He says here in the text, you take it personally because you agree with whatever was said. So he gives an example. He says, usually, if I see you on the street and I say, "Hey, you are so stupid," whether for real or jokingly, "Hey, you're so stupid." If I just pop up on you on the street and say, "Hey, you are so stupid," without knowing you, it's not about you. It's about me, he says. If you take it personally, then perhaps you believe that you are stupid. So that could be whatever it is. If someone says, "Hey, you are stupid," if someone says, "Hey, you're trash at NBA 2K," if someone says, "Hey, you're not going to like the place that you moved to. Hey, you're not going to like that new job," or, "Hey, I've been down this road before. You know, I failed, so you're going to fail," or, "Hey, you're not capable enough." Whatever these things and whatever people tell you and project out, again, don't take it personally. And yes, it is super, super. It can be super, super, super hard. But again, the more you put into a practice, the more that you will be able to get through it. So again, what causes you to be trapped is what we call personal importance. Personal importance, or taking things personally, is the maximum expression of selfishness because we make the assumption that everything is about us. During the period of education, he says, or our domestication, he uses the word domestication, and that's from when we're growing up. That's everything that we've been taught and learned and shown since our birth, since we came out of our mother's womb. Everything that we've been shown, that we've been taught, all the unconscious signs, all the signage, all the shows, all the music, all the family arguments, all the family gatherings, all the traveling, everything that we have been shown through our domestication, we learn to take personally. So let's pause there. We do this from the start. It takes time to learn something new. It takes time to learn a new language. Your fourth grade took a whole year. Whatever you learned in fourth grade took you at least a whole year to learn. Whatever you learned in fifth grade took a whole year to learn. It took you 12 years if you completed high school. If not, school's relative. But it took you 12 years. It takes 12 years for the American high school system to get completed. That's 12 long years. Now think about that. Now, however old you are in this day and age on this planet relative to time, you have been learning things. You're a Beast Body alumni, what up? You have been learning things since the dawn of your time. I'm 30. I'm a ripe, old, beautiful, vintage age of 33 right now. I've been learning things since the get. That's 33 years of learning things. 33 years of seeds being planted. However old you are, 24. That's 24 years of recurring education, recurring themes. So of course it's going to take a while. Of course it's going to take some time and some work for you to put these practices in. So again, we're going over the second agreement, which is don't take it personally. Don't take anything personally. From the 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. Now, he also says, which I really like, nothing other people do is because of you. Nothing other people do is because of you. It is because of themselves. All people live in their own dream, in their own mind. They are in a completely different world from the one that we live in. Let's pause there again. There are 7 billion. Hold on. We got technology. Let's go. How many people on Earth? There are, last I checked, there are according to Google, there are 7.7 billion people on planet Earth. And that's just the people, yeah, that's just the people that are counted. That's just the people that fall into these systems that fill in the census, that are visible, not even accounting the people that are invisible, not even accounting those in countries in areas that are shielded from these satellites, which may not be many. Yes, these perception, we'll touch on that. But there are 7.7 billion people on this planet, and each and every and growing, and everyone has a different perception. We'll use Visha's word, body of work alumni perception. Everyone has a different perception. And we were talking about this the other day. Communication is very, very, very important. If you're working with someone, if you're working on a team, if you're working to get through an idea, say you're taking one of those dreams that you have with the impeccability of your word, and you want that to grow, but you need help. You're going to have to work with people. You're going to have to get certain things done. You're going to have to communicate. Even if you don't work with people, let's retract that. Even if you don't work with people, you're going to have to communicate, right? But perception, your blue may not be my blue. If I go, hey, what color is blue? I may think of Robin's egg blue. You may think of midnight blue. You may think of royal blue. You may think of that blue from the Devil Wears Prada. We don't know until we communicate it, but everyone's perception is different. There are 7.7 billion people on this planet. And again, in the book, he says, nothing other people do is because of you. All people live in their own dream, in their own mind. According to that, they're all dealing with their own dreams. They're all dealing with their own demons. They're all dealing with their own personal struggles and things that they are dealing with. And when you understand that, and when you begin to understand that, we're heating up now. When you begin to understand that, then you realize that it is, at least personally for me, it's a lot easier to take the second agreement with you. And the second agreement is don't take anything personally. So again, going back to that earlier example, if someone walks up to you on the street, or someone calls you on the phone, and you have a 5-minute conversation, and then in the middle of that conversation, they go, hey, you know what, that was dumb, you're stupid. Don't take it personally. Yes, it's harder in certain situations, and we can go into examples of, oh, but this person has an emotional connection to me, or oh, this person's my mother, shout out to my mom, I love her. Oh, this person, we've had a relationship for, oh, this person is my boss, or oh, this person is my significant other. So of course, yada, yada, yada. Absolutely, that is a real life thing, because we're dealing in reality as well. But it is a lot easier once you understand these things and you begin to apply them in your life. That's all. And we'll get into the other agreements as well to make this easier. But again, the second agreement, don't take anything personally. Now, also, he says, when we take something personally, we make the assumption that we know. Let me back up. When we take something personally, we make the assumption that they know what is in our world, and we try to impose our world on their world. I needed that too, Vish. Thank you. When we take things personally, we make the assumption that they know what is in our world. We make the assumption that they have grown up playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater, and then they get frustrated. We make the assumption that they know what it feels like to be slighted in certain areas. We make the assumption that they know how it feels when there's an earthquake, or when there's something goes wrong and you've planned everything out. We make these assumptions as if they know, when in reality, again, there's 7 billion people, 7.7, inching up to 8. We make the assumption that they know what is going on in our world, when, again, without communication, they may not know. We make the assumption. So again, when that interaction happens, just remember the second agreement. Don't take anything personally. Another example, if someone gives you an opinion and says, now remember, yesterday we said that an opinion is a seed. And if you let that seed, if you water that seed, if you cultivate that seed, if you let that seed grow, then is what manifests. Here he says, if someone gives you an opinion and says, hey, you look so fat, don't take it personally, because the truth is that person is dealing with his or her own feelings, own beliefs, and own opinions. And those are the things which double back into the first agreement, which they're all tied in. So I love this, which is shout out to the Mercury retrograde, because we're reviewing it because we touched on this before. They're dealing with their own feelings, their own beliefs, and their own opinions. Those are the things that they speak. Those are the things that they dream. Those are the things that they've cultivated in their mind. Those are the things that they've planted. And that is just a projection of what they are going through, what they are saying. He continues to say, that person tried to send poison to you. And if you take it personally, then you take that poison and it becomes yours. Metaphorically, physically, spiritually, you can block that. And for those listening on the podcast, you can't see me. But I just swatted them away. And again, shout out to you for listening on the audio version. Shout out to all of our new listeners on there. Shout out to everybody on the lives and YouTube and all that. But if you take that poison, if you take it personally, then you take that poison and it becomes yours. Now you're ingesting that poison. And you know that that poison is there in different ways because for this example, I'm going to say energy. When energy is exchanged. If someone hits you with energy and you take that and then you return that energy, then it's just a nasty spiral of poison just going around. Now you can choose not to take that. You can choose not to take it personally. You can choose not to do those things. But again, if you take that poison, then it becomes yours. If you feel offended, oh no, here we go. Has nothing to do with you. What they say, do, and their feelings, opinions of their own. The point of view comes from all the programming they've received during domestication. Again, all of the things that we have been learning since birth, all the road signs from our road trips, all of the verbiages and billboards and TV commercials, all of those things have been built in through our subconscious. That's why we can remember commercials just out of the blue from 5 years ago. That's why we can remember video game clips from when we were younger. That's why we can remember songs that we haven't heard in a bajillion years, because that's all stored in our subconscious. And again, I urge everyone to do their own research about that. But when your brain sees it, it doesn't go away. It just stores it somewhere deep. Now, again, some things are closer up to your brain and closer up to the forefront of your brain, like telephone numbers that you may know, passcodes to your phone, routes to work. Some things you do unconsciously. Some things you just put on autopilot because it's so up there. Other things you hear once and then you just drop to the bottom of your brain. But again, if you take that poison, then you make that yours, then you don't need to take that personally. All these things, but and I understand for those listening that for a long time, for however old you are, you could be 15 and have a different experience and have it hit harder. You can be 7 and have a different experience and hit harder. You can be 42 and have a different experience and have it hit harder. It's going to take time for you to apply these agreements in order to grow as a person. It is not important he says here. Again, we're going over the 4 agreements and we're about to wrap up in just a second, because we encourage you to read the reading on your own. We encourage you to do your own research here, just like we do on our other podcast, Crypto in the Community, but we'll talk about that later. We encourage you to do your own reading and research, but these are things that I feel as though are important and that we can just touch back on. So he says, again, in the 4 agreements, on the 2nd agreement, by Don Miguel Ruiz, he says, it is not important to me what you think about me. I don't take what you think personally. I don't take it personally when people say, Miguel, you are the best. And again, here, if you're listening to this on the audio or watching this on YouTube, replace his name with your name. That way you can sort of imagine yourself in these situations. I'll start over again and then we'll end. He says, it is not important to me what you think about me. It is not important to me what you think about me. I don't take what you think personally. I don't take it personally when people say, LP, Swens, you are the best. Thank you. I also don't take it personally when people say, LP, Swens, you are the worst. Sorry to hear that. I know when you are happy, you will tell me, Swens, you are such an angel. We love you. You're fantastic. Your show's the best. You're magnificent. God, we love your curls. All those things. But when you are mad at me, you will say, LP, Swens, oh my God, you're such the devil. I can't believe you did that. Your show sucks. Your hair's stupid. You're gonna say all those things. You're so disgusting. How can you say those things? And he closes by saying, either way, it does not affect me because I know what I am. And that's the important part to take away from this, is knowing who you are is one of the overall goals of all of this. The reason why we're revisiting the 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz is to add to the insights that body of work hopes to provide a platform for it, is to better knowing yourself so you can make better informed decisions, whether it's for your entrepreneurship, whether it's for your art, whether it's for your health, whether it's for your life, whether it's for your creative process. He says, either way, it does not affect me because I know what I am. People are going to love you. People are going to hate you. Regardless of what they say, you know who you are. And that will become easier, and that will become more abundant knowing who you are. And that will become something that just rolls off your tongue automatically, unconsciously, when you begin to put these agreements into practice. And one last quote as we end this episode, he says here in the text, we all see the world through different eyes. So take that along with you today. How many people did we say? 7.7 billion people on planet Earth. And now we're reaching Mars. And now we got high-def pictures of Jupiter. So who even knows what kind of energies and spirits and entities and aliens and homies and comrades are out there. But there are 7.7 billion people on planet Earth, and we all see the world through different eyes. So take the second agreement with you. Don't take anything personally. Apply it as much as you can. Again, I know it may be a challenge in the beginning, but the more and more you practice it, just like the more and more basketball players, shout outs and RIP to Kobe, shoots baskets, the easier to get. The more and more a hockey player shoots at the net, the easier to get. The more and more a dancer does pirouette, the easier the easier it gets. So shout outs to you, the listeners. Shout outs to everyone who has tuned in on YouTube and Patreon and the Instagram live playbacks. Thank you to everyone who listens on Apple, Spotify, Anchor, and wherever you get your podcasting audio from. We will be back tomorrow with the third agreement. And I believe that's it for today. Take these agreements with you. Go in peace. Drink some water. Do something nice for the youth stem. And also remember to be kind to yourself. The universe has your back. One of my favorite quotes is, move as if the universe is rigged in your favor. Heard via Ariana Huffington, via Oprah, via Rumi from the Gate. So take that. We love you. Sending you love, light, and everything bright from this side of the globe to yours. It's your boy LP, aka Swens. If you know me in the industry, this has been Body of Work. Have a great day.